What is good? Renee Bucks Young, salute from the South. Thank you. I appreciate the community, everybody who's been subscribing, the new viewers, those who are tuning into the lives, the new subscribers, those who have subscribed from the beginning, your support, your comments, everything, man. I thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you, man. I'm having a blast. It's just fun, following the sport of boxing, good stuff, man. I thank you guys so much. I hope you guys are well. I hope everybody's doing great. You know what I mean? Taking care of yourselves in these crazy times. Y'all know what it is, right? I want to get to this. I want to talk about this whole situation between, Devin Haney and Gary Russel. I was going to say Kurt Russell, man. Gary Russell, Mr. Gary Russell. As you can see in the image here, that I made here, it's just a lot of back and forth, a lot of politics going on. And the thing here is that, I just want to put my input with this, like, concerning this issue here between these guys, these champs, amazing fighters, you know what I mean? They're, in this digital era that we're living in, I've said it before, you know what I mean, commonly, as far as the digital era we're living in new times, you know what I mean, where we can get a glimpse of what's going on behind closed doors to a certain extent. Shouts out to 78 Sports TV, you know what I mean? The platforms that have been building this whole thing up, you know what I mean? This whole potential fight. Great stuff, We can see and get a glimpse of how negotiations go down. They were going back and forth, Batman, Bill Haney, in representation of both fighters. And you can see and get an idea of what really happens in negotiations. I'm not saying that, when it comes to like promoters, the promoters, managers, when it comes to them getting together, ironing out details when it comes to making fights go down. I mean, there are lots of things to consider. Stipulations, this is the A side, B side, what have you. I don't really like to get in that talk, and I don't really do it on my platform, but it's the reality. And we as fans and as a boxing community who love the sport, we're seeing this kind of stuff, We're getting insight. I mean, for example, you can just go back, to Canelo's issue with him bringing a lawsuit against De La Hoya and DAZN. We even have access to, and other platforms are doing it, breaking it down, the legalities and things of that nature, the terminology and stuff like that. And, media and platforms are breaking that stuff down. I don't really do that. That's not me. But my point is that we as a boxing community have access to those details. Because we're living in a digital era, man, where everything's just out in the open. A lot of things are out in the open. And we get an insight on these things. I personally do not approve. I don't like how, concerning, Haney and Russell, this whole back and forth, the fight's not even official. It looks like it's not even going to go down. And I want to go to what Devin Haney said recently. It looks like the fight's not even going to happen. According to Gary Russell, DAZN didn't approve the fight. Eddie Hearn didn't approve the fight. But who's to believe? I don't know. But I want to give you my personal opinion on this. All right. First and foremost, getting back to what I was saying, that I don't like seeing so much back and forth when the fight is not even official. That's what gets me as a fan. When a fight is official, for example, Teofimo Lopez and, Lomachenko, that's official. They even signed the contracts there in social. You see, that's what I'm saying. In social media, man, everything's out in the open, dude. Even them signing contracts. Even, you even go back to, Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson recently recorded also with a big blunt in his hand. I remember we're talking about it with Nika. Shouts out to Nika. Knockouts with Nika. No, go subscribe to her. We talked about it and how, y'all saw it. Mike Tyson with the signing a contract to fight Roy Jones Jr. with the joint in his hand, whatever, him signing a contract. So this stuff's out in the open. Teofimo Lopez, Lomachenko, social media signing their contracts to fight. The fight's official. Great. Now you continue going back and forth. It's a great build-up for the fight. Or, you go back to, Mel versus Harrison. Just quick examples. Look at the wonderful build-up, between the rematch. Amazing build because the fight was official. The rematch was official. We knew they were going to fight and rematch again. Look at the buildup. But here or in other circumstances, you see fighters go back and forth, and the fight's not even official. That's what's frustrating. Gary Russell started all this. You know what I mean? If I'm not mistaken, or he's the one that's been more prevalent. You know what I mean? Of just going back and forth, calling out fighters, calling out Bud, calling out Haney, calling out other fighters. and nothing's official. I mean, it's not happening. That's what is kind of frustrating for me as a fan. Now, but I do understand the point of view of fighters. You know, we have to understand the frustration they go to too. You know what I mean? We got to put ourselves in their shoes. You know, look at the politics. Look at what they have to go through just to get a fight in, man. I mean, they got their managers, they got promoters, they're under promoters or whatever. They have their own promotional companies, what have you. There are a lot of intricacies and things, you know, that entail making a fight. It's a lot. And fighters go through a lot of stress. You know, they go through a lot of frustration that we don't see. But now we can see it more now. You know, they're in the middle of negotiations. You know, any fight in general I'm talking about. They're in the middle of their managers and the other team's manager and, you know, promoters going back and forth concerning, you know, contracts, concerning negotiations. They're stuck in the middle, you know, just like, you know, observing the whole situation. And that must be stressful, you know, wanting to fight, wanting to just get in the ring and get down, you know what I mean? Do their jobs, but they're in the middle of all this stuff, all this fiasco, all this jargon, all this contract, all the stipulations, all the et cetera, et cetera. And it must be frustrating. Imagine it. If it's frustrating for a real boxing fan, you know, hardcore box fan, whatever you want to call it, who really love the sport of boxing, genuinely love the sport of boxing, want to see great fights, imagine how much more frustrating is it for fighters who want to just get in there, who want to face the best, who want to really go out there and fight. How much more frustrating is it for them? Having to receive all the criticism because of things that maybe the community doesn't even know 100% about. You see? That the community doesn't holistically know about. You see what I'm saying? And now, Gary Russell recently said, if I'm not mistaken, according to him, DAZN and Eddie Hearn's not accepting the contract, right? Not accepting the fight, stipulations or what have you. And it looks like the fight's not even going down. After all this back and forth, after all this stuff, it looks like the fight ain't even going to happen. You see? Now, let's see what Devin Haney has to say here. You know, here's Devin Haney. I don't care about Gary. I wanted to be at his behind. You know, I keep it clean for that DMB respect. Man, stay woke. Mr. Cap strikes again. The DMB is mine. Wow. Look at that, you guys. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Cap cried about stipulations. Now his Cap behind adds stipulations. He don't want this. Smoke. I'm just, you know, paraphrasing, you know, rewording it, right? I personally think, this is just, now I want to get to my personal input concerning this whole thing with, you know, Devin Haney and Gary Russell. I think that Devin Haney, you know, obviously we cannot read the hearts and stuff like that, right? But their minds. But I think that Devin Haney and his team, it seemed like they really, really wanted to fight. Gary Russell, I just see more of him just speaking kind of desperate and just, you know, because Bill Haney, you know, when they were going back and forth with, you know, he was going back and forth with Batman, you know, here's the 1.5 million. We got the contract. Go and just sign it. Here it is. You know, Gary Russell said, I'll do it, you know, except, you know, don't put any stipulations on there except for the rematch. And now he's coming about that, you know. And then lately, Gary Russell came out with the video, you know, amongst all the videos he's throwing out there, man, all the talk he's given, saying that, you know, oh, the rematch stipulation has to be under my terms and this and that, something along those lines. And now he's coming out that, okay, DAZN and Haney aren't accepting the fight. I mean, DAZN and, Eddie Hearn aren't accepting the fight. Yeah, so I see more that Haney's the one that really, really is the one. They put the money on the table. They're the ones who are more straightforward about it. And sign it. Let's get down, man. The only stipulation is the rematch clause. And that's it. Let's fight. You know, and at the beginning, when you go to the beginning or earlier, as far as this whole negotiation stuff process, Batman, he was trying to fight over getting the first fight, if they were going to fight, on pay-per-view, you know, and Bill Haney, no, the first fight has to be on the zone and this and that. Batman saying nobody wants to be on the zone, no one wants to subscribe there, you know, et cetera, et cetera. I see more, this is what I'm saying, I think Devin Haney's team is the one that's more straightforward, and they're the ones that really want it. Proof is in the pudding, sign it, you know, we gave you what you wanted. The only stipulation here is a rematch clause, and that's it. Let's fight. I think Gary Russell and his team are the ones who are kind of backtracking and just mixing things around more, you know, rewording things. You know, I really wanted to see this fight. Unfortunately, it looks like it's not going to happen. It might, though. It might, you know, later down the road. But I just don't see it happening, man. But if, you know, it's just another upset. You know, that's why I put here politics. Dirty, dirty nose of politics sticks his nose in between fights. We see it time and time again. And I've said it, I have hope that we're going to keep, we have a great quarter, and last quarter of, fourth quarter of the year with boxing. Great stuff, But unfortunately, these are the types of things that prevent more great fights from happening. Politics. And, but, I just wanted to make this video to speak my piece on it. And I personally think Devin Haney's team and Devin Haney are the ones who really, really, they put the money down. They put everything up front, negotiated with Gary Russell as much as possible and as fairly as possible. Now Gary Russell's like, you know what? Haney don't want, or, Hearn don't want it. DAZN don't want it. I'm more on the side of Devin Haney. And if they do fight, I want to see Devin Haney, take out Gary Russell. That's what I want to see. I mean, I respect Gary Russell. I mean, he's a great fighter, man. Great fighter, you know what I'm saying? But I see as far as skills, what they bring into the table, as far as their skills and craft, I see Devin Haney. I really want to see him, against Gary Russell. And I think I really want to see him beat him. I really want to see him take him out. And, and I want to see what Gary Russell has too. But I don't think Gary Russell can, has the advantage over Devin Haney. But unfortunately, we probably won't see it. Hopefully we will, right? Hopefully we will. Like I said, time and time again. But by the time I post this video up, we'll probably hear news tomorrow. Oh, they're going to fight now. Who knows? But, unfortunately, the dirty nose of politics sticks his nose up in the business, and it prevents great fights from happening, man, potential fights. And I think it's better for fighters because, a lot of people argue, oh, it's a great buildup. They're going back and forth. Yes, when it's official, not before a fight's official. If a fight's not official, I mean, it's just a bunch of back and forth. And, if it's not official, why are you going to even try to go back and forth with somebody? You know what I'm saying? Wait, do the business behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? Do the dirty business or whatever you got to do, negotiate, whatever, iron out the details. You know what I'm saying? Behind closed doors, get it official, then go back and forth, then build the fight up. That's just my point, you know what I mean? But what do you guys think, man? What do you guys think? What do you guys think about this whole situation? I think I'm more on the side of Devin Haney, but I respect both fighters. I'm not the type of, I'm not a man fan. Y'all know who I am. So, but I think Devin Haney is the one they were more transparent. They were more straightforward. They wanted to fight. Gary Russell, I don't know, man. He's just talking a lot. But hey, all due respect, you know what I'm saying? So, Renee Box Young, go ahead and comment below. Go ahead and opinionate. Thank you so much, man. Share, like, subscribe for all those new viewers. Thank you so much for your support, man. Renee Box Young. Stay safe out there, family. Peace.